Welcome everybody to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Oz and I'm joined as always by Josh Lambert and Tim Johnson. Before we go any further, I do have a little announcement to make. Everybody who's tuning in, you've probably already noticed that this is not exactly a continuation of the Phantasm series, what we're producing right here tonight. This is actually a new episode that we're going to be doing because, as you can probably see from down there, Mr. Aaron Peerless is not joining us right now.
We're peerless.
We are peerlessness. Yes. Do not be alarmed. It's hunt season. Aaron is full out on a couple of big projects, and I mean, when it comes down to it, you got to pay the bills, right? You got to keep the lights on, running in the shop. So he is full balls to the wall right now, getting all that done, and we wish him the best. And we will see him very shortly again on the episodes as soon as he is available again. So, without further ado, Tim, instead of continuing Phantasm, what are we talking about tonight?
We are going to switch it up with a found footage classic. Despite other people in this group not liking and having an opinion, this is by far one of the greatest found footage movies to date ever made. We're talking about from 2007, Wreck.
Stay tuned! Give us the synopsis, Tim.
Well, a television reporter and a cameraman follow emergency workers into a dark apartment building that they have to make a call for and are quickly locked inside with something terrifying.
Nice. I will.
I thought you were going to clap for me.
It was a slow clap, actually, man. Slow clap. All right. I will say, I found this movie by pure frickin' accident way back when it first came out. It had hit like one of the film festivals. I think it was South by Southwest or something like that. And some random person had basically posted saying, this is going to be the next great movie. And eventually it came out, and I found a DVD for rent, and I watched it, and I absolutely fell in fucking love with this movie. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's good. See, me, it was completely different. I had no idea this movie existed. And I went to the theater to see Quarantine, which is the almost identical fucking remake, the American remake. Mm-hmm. And I saw this. It was after the fact that I found out that it was a remake of Wreck. And by this time, I was like, oh my God, there's another version of this? And yeah, so that's how I got exposed. But it was the remake that did.
And then we're not really going to get into how Josh was exposed to this.
I saw this movie because you two exposed me to its nonsense.
Oh, I can already see we're off to a good start. This nonsense.
He's seething. Look at him. He's seething.
He is pissy. He can't wait to give us his notes. I'm going to be like, Josh, tell us your notes. And he'd be like, all right, fuckers.
Fuck you. Fuck this movie.
Lessen the F-bombs, Josh. Let's go with this. So, starting off with, I'm basically just going to talk about the absolute main character who just kind of really populates the screen as much as possible. We have Angela Vidal, who is played by an actual reporter. How do you pronounce it? Manuela Velasco.
She is an angel.
She's adorable.
She is absolutely adorable. And to see her acting chops, because she's not even an actress. She's a straight up TV personality, like straight up real. And like when she's running around screaming and shit, like I believed it.
Yeah.
Acting.
the character of Angela Vidal is obviously the centerpiece to this movie because, as the synopsis stated, it's all about the fact that they're filming like this late night show. It's kind of the opposite of like a breakfast television type of show. It's while you were sleeping.
While you were sleeping.
So it's all about everything that's going on in the major city when everybody's usually asleep. So in this one episode, they're following firemen. They start off in the firehouse. It's supper time. It's cleanup time. They're interviewing people. Then everybody's in bed, and she's on the night shift with some of the guys who are awake. Just in case of the phone calls. She's playing basketball with them, and all of a sudden the phone call comes in. The alarm goes off. The call comes in. They race down. They get into the apartment complex, and it just goes to hell from there. It starts like the movie might start off a little bit slow, and Josh, you pointed this out by messaging us the other night. Boys, if this doesn't pick up, okay, it's like 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, man. That's all you need is like 10 minutes. And then this shit kicks off, and it kicks off into high frickin' gear. I don't know what else to say about that, right? So we have...
I think...
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think that found footage is a very delicate ballet. And if it's done right, it's fucking good. And if it's done wrong, it's bad. And I feel that this was one of the few situations, given all I know about like the making of it and the behind the scenes shit, this was one of those found footage things that was done right. Like it was done right. This is how a found footage movie should be. You know what I mean?
100%.
So here's my thing. I don't like the genre. You guys know this.
No, we know.
Yes.
And one of the things, like Cloverfield, critically acclaimed film, did very well. I couldn't stand it. Like the fucking shaky cam, I can't see what's going on. Everything's blurry, and half the movie you're staring at people's feet because for whatever reason in found footage movies, they drop the camera every 10 minutes. I just don't get it.
Isn't the other thing in found footage that the camera has to drop at the end from like a spaceship or something like that? Isn't that what you found, Tim?
That's the alien ones. The alien ones always end the same, where the people legit get taken by aliens, and then the aliens throw the camera out the fucking spaceship, and it falls back to Earth and lands in the dirt. And it happened in like made by 4 different people. It happened the same, and I was getting mad. Like, it was cool the first time.
It's almost like its own set of horror tropes it has. Like, the camera's gonna fall and you're gonna see people's boots. Shit's gonna go down in the action scene, the camera's gonna fall, you're just gonna see things kind of out of stage. When there's the jump scare, the camera's gonna blur all over the screen and you're not gonna see all the effects. It's gonna end by the main character getting dragged away while she screams into the camera. Like, they have their own set of just tropes that get used over and over again. And if you're a fan of that genre, I reckon that's probably similar to watching like a slasher movie and seeing a slasher trope. You're like, hey, I like that. But when you're not a fan of the genre, all it does is take you out of the magic of the film.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that. Yeah, there's tropes to every style of film that's out there, obviously, right? You got your slashers, you got your gore, friggin' porn, gore porn, or what do we want to call it, torture porn movies. And there's all kinds of that bullshit that's going on with this. But the key here with Wreck is that it actually has a pretty good and deep storyline to it as well.
Yeah, there's like a mystery to it. You don't know what the fuck is going
there
on.
There totally is.
I like that because you get some of that answered, especially at the ending, where you're looking and like you're seeing all these fucking newspapers. What the fuck is up with this little hidden thing and like this apartment and what's going on? Like I like that fish out of water feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're there with the characters and they don't know what the fuck is going on. Like it's not like Phantasm. Characters know what's going on and we don't.
You don't. Yeah.
Right? But this, I felt like I was immersed in the story. And I mean, I get the qualms about, the shaky camera and dropping it and shit like that. But, it's a way to hide cuts in the film. but it's also a
But
way of.
that's one of the shitty things. It doesn't hide it. It like puts a fucking spotlight on it.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's fair. I'll give you
What
that.
I'll say
Um,
is that I find that it's a way to immerse you in it. Because
because people are really going to hold cameras like that and drop
yeah,
cameras
like
and
I
stuff.
feel like I'm at
Jesus, Josh, we're not
No,
all
they're
like
not.
when it comes to
Except for this film, they are. He's a professional man.
when it
I know,
comes to
that's why I said
Wreck. When I first watched Wreck, it was one of those ones where I turned off all the lights and I had it going on the projector, and I remember very specifically it felt like I was almost watching it live. That's the feeling that I got, is like it was broadcasting and I was watching this shit happen, and it felt good to me, like watching that kind of a thing. But going back to the story just a little bit here, this is one of those movies that it has a bit of a deep meaning story to it, but it starts off very innocently, and then all of a sudden there's murderous shit going on, and then all of a sudden it's zombie apocalypse type of situation going on
in
a building, but then it takes it even one step further and it adds another flippin' twist onto it, and it says this isn't because they keep talking about some sort of a disease that's catching on, but it's not that it's just some sort of like a bio, hazardous situation.
Mhm.
It starts wrapping exorcist shit in there,
Yeah,
where it's talking
they
about
fucking add this level of fucking
like
So-
demon
religion
religion
to it and shit.
Yeah,
Like I was like, yeah,
like
Yeah.
brave.
When I watched this one, I thought it was just a viral outbreak, and that the religious aspect was the church reacting to the fact that it's a viral outbreak and they're performing exorcism basically on sick people. Until I watched the sequel, and then it kind of goes and explains it more into depth and says, no, they actually are demonic.
Yeah, but like for me, like going back and seeing the first one a second time and a third time. I mean, I've seen it so many damn times, but seeing the first one a second time started to open up my eyes to the fact that the first time I thought it was just what you were saying, Josh. It was, basically some sort of a biohazardous zombie situation, but then the church comes in and is like, oh, they're possessed, boom, and it's their way of fighting it, but it didn't work too well. But when you go back and you watch it a second time, you really come to see that it is a possession and a possessive situation, where that's exactly what it is. It's almost like demons being passed along. It's weird, and you can find the little hints about it all throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you watch the second one, it isn't just hinted. It's
No,
flat
it's
out
blatant.
thrown in
Yeah.
your face that that's exactly, you're right, that's exactly what it was. So I love the fact that it takes you for an entire twist at the end. And to me, this has, and I will just flat out say it, one of the greatest endings in recent horror history. And I'm talking within the last 20 years. This has one of the greatest endings. Just the way that...
Oh, that yeah, like that last fucking like 10 minutes up in the dark with fucking the fucking night vision. First time
and the
I saw that,
fucking
it was
witch
terrifying.
character? Like the witch? As they
Yeah.
call her, like walking around with like a fucking,
Yeah.
beating stick, basically.
Yeah.
Terrifying
Yeah.
as shit to me, man.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Josh.
Like the whole screen, last like 6 minutes or whatever the ending was, it was just fucking green, and it's just flashing back and forth. I can't tell what's going on. You start to get an idea of what the hell it is, and you're like, oh, okay, there's some cool effects. Oh no, can't see nothing. Can't see nothing. Oh, it pauses. The girl's there, and she gets dragged away, and she screams. I was like, this is the ending. Everyone is like giving this movie positive reviews for.
Because at
I
that
get
point, I mean, it's hopeless, right? Like, here the...
Josh just can't see the giraffe.
I can't see the trap. If that's the case, then Josh, I just really want to hear your notes on this. Just, you know what? Just go right into your damn notes on this one. I want to hear your notes.
All right.
He doesn't even know where to start. He's just like, where do I start pissing?
Where are we at here? Okay, yeah, here we
all
are.
right.
This is my first viewing of Wreck. Took place August 12th, 2020. at 8:36 p.m. The first thing I have written down here is this movie Spanish. At what point I had to stop and message the group to ensure that I had.
Did
the
I
correct
download
film.
the right one? Am I watching the right one?
Is this the right movie here, folks?
Yes.
Yep.
So it was. So I turned on the old subtitles. So basically, this is Cops for Firefighters. I wrote. So they're just filming cops and your firefighters doing their thing. This movie is lame. Was my next note. The neighbors say she's really weird. Excellent. Okay, got a what the fuck? Is this a zombie movie? Okay.
Oh.
She bit him. Yep, definitely a zombie movie. All right. Holy shit, he crashed hard.
Oh.
So I think that would have been the scene when he
Fell over the
crashes
balcony.
up over the railing. Yeah, that was cool. I'll give it that.
It was unexpected too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there is the iconic hand over the camera trick used to cut every single fucking found footage film. Every single one. Like, there's a list of tropes you could follow. He fucking blasted her. The gore is pretty realistic, and I really love the effects. The only thing is, the camera doesn't stay on it for longer than 2 seconds, so I can't really get a good look at it. But what you can see, it does look like their effects artist did a very good job. And I think one of the things that found footage does is does it on purpose to kind of hide defects of poor budget effects work. But it just doesn't make sense to me when you have a good effects artist and you're not dealing with low budgets. I love this old couple. I hope they don't die. So like the little old grandma in the background, she's like doing things in all the scenes and making cracks and jokes. So far, the most redeeming feature of this film is the host. She is a total babe. Camera flash and off and on effects are annoying, unnecessary, and just flat out lame. They make it a very strong point to tell you that the camera's running out of battery, that the camera's flash is doing this. It's like, it's kind of cheesy, but I get it.
Well, you gotta think if this was really them trying to record stuff, then he would have very much so been purposely doing that to make sure that she understood, because otherwise, you know, if you're on a production like that, she would have very much been like, all right, get the camera ready. And if he didn't tell her certain things were problems or going on, then that's just a lack of communication.
She's just going to assume that like everything's fine and keep recording. You know what's funny though? I'm waiting for Josh's review. Now, if Josh's review doesn't satisfy me, I'm absolutely saying we're watching all 4 of these and Quarantine. So watch what you say, Josh.
See,
I
do not resort to. I do not accept terrorism. Here,
I do not
Lambert
deal with
Health
terrorism. Yeah.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
We do not
We
negotiate
don't negotiate with terrorists. Yeah.
Oh my fuck! The shaky cam is so annoying. It's literally making me sick to my stomach. There's a good way to do found footage films, and this is not necessary. So pretty much it's a rage virus zombie style movie with so far excellent jumps and excellent effects. What the fuck? Zombie tonsillitis girl. So the little girls, they're like, oh, she's got tonsillitis. No, bam, zombie in your face.
Bites the mother's face.
Yeah, just starts biting her face. That was cool. Imagine being in 2007 and thinking police quarantine orders are sci-fi horror and not reality.
I know, right?
Okay? Like, where was this one? It took place in Spain.
Barcelona.
Okay.
Barcelona, yeah.
Barcelona. Because it was Italy that they literally had police quarantines during COVID, the peak of the pandemic. Like, you literally couldn't leave your house for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She weighed like 45 pounds, just footballer. So they're like wrestling with this little girl.
Kid.
It's like, man, just boot her. She weighs like 45 pounds. The old lady is back. Savage. They just left her there handcuffed to the stairs. That was intense. Buddy punched the zombie square in the face. That doesn't happen enough in movies. It happened in Train to Busan. And I do like that it happened in this movie. I got bitten, quote. No, you didn't, quote. He's gaslighting her, bro. What do you... No, you didn't. What do you mean, no, you didn't? How do you not know if you got bit or not?
Adrenaline.
The penthouse is like some fucking Ed Gein stuff. Like, there's some serious serial killer vibes going on in this penthouse.
Yep.
Getting a final plot device from a reel-to-reel player. I see what you guys are doing. You're not Evil Dead.
I knew you'd like
But
that
did
one.
you not appreciate that little detail, though?
I did, but I also, it's with a squinty eye, I accept it. I see what you're doing there.
It's with a
I don't necessarily like it, but I'll accept it.
I'll accept it. Excellent jump scare at the end. Knew it was coming. They built up very good anticipation with the slow camera roll. See, to me, that is good found footage. It doesn't need to be shaky, because no one fucking operates a camera like that.
Well, when you're running around, you know, scared shitless for your life, and you're holding a camera, you would.
Not. They'd be sitting there talking, and he's fidgeting around in the fucking camera. You'd tell what's going on. Maybe it's just my ocular problems, as Tim would say, but I did not have a good time trying to figure out what was going on in these movies. And then the final scene. So again, first thing they do is they devoid the world of color. You go to green. Night vision. Another unnecessary trope of found footage films. And then it is the most shakiest 5 minutes of television I think my TV has ever seen. Followed by the ending, which is the girl getting dragged away.
And those are Josh's notes?
That's Josh's notes. This movie has a lot of great things. It has some great effects. It has some kind of funny lines. Not a whole lot of humor.
So I'm going to pose this to you, Josh.
Yes?
If this movie,
Yes.
if this movie did not shake the camera as much,
Yes?
would you have enjoyed it?
Yes? Yes?
Okay. Okay. So basically,
Even
you're only
for found
so
footage.
really the only problem you had with this is that you couldn't make out some of the shit that was going on due to the shaky camera. Everything else sounded
And it
pretty
pissed me
damn
off.
positive.
Yes.
But everything else that you said basically sounded pretty damn positive. So at the end, when you give your review, I challenge you
Yes?
with your list to see where this
Yes.
movie officially sits.
Yeah.
Okay? So you start putting your thought into that unless you already have.
I gotta get out the 10 rules.
You
of
get out
horror,
your
is that
10
what you're
rules,
telling me?
yes. Your 10 rules you must
That's
abide.
what we're saying.
All right.
Let's see.
So let's talk a little bit about. I want to kind of mix it up because Aaron's not here, and he always does a fantastic job talking about the effects work. I just want to kind of touch on some of the effects work, but I'm not going to get into detail on it because I don't know how the hell half this stuff was, obviously accomplished. I mean, I can garner, but let's talk about some of the best effects. I'm just going to say it right off the bat.
But no, couldn't see him.
I'm just going to say it right off the bat. The actual zombie possessed rage virus character effects, the contacts with the bleeding in the eyes and all that stuff, well done. Because it was very, very much so, in my opinion, it was the fresh situation, right? Where they're basically just turned. But you can tell that there's going to be a problem because they're bleeding out of their eyes now. You know what I mean? Fantastic. The girl biting her mother's face.
That was one of the effects I got to see. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a really good effect. The guy basically splattered on the floor. I love the cut shot where it shows him falling in the background, and the Foley work with him hitting that damn floor is, it's disgusting.
Well, how they did it with the dummy falling, and then
Dummy.
the cut. Yeah, that was a dummy. They did, and yeah, the first time they did it, I'll preemptive trivia time.
Trivia time.
Is they threw the dummy down, and it got it literally just went to the next set of steps. 'Cause they're on, the step, and they're like, fuck. So they had to reset and do it again. Yeah, it was a dummy that fell. It looked like a legit person. And then I believe they cut and actually put the actor there. But like that fall, 100% a dummy. Like they literally just threw it over.
It was
Cool.
fantastic. It was one of the best dummy falls I've ever seen. I want to say for sure.
Definitely.
Um, the actual random creatures or turned people that are in this are all really well done. But what really stands out to me, and it was always one of my favorite things about this movie, is the witch character at the end. Because, as Tim said, he kind of put two and two together about the fact that this is the possessed girl. And she's
Well, I didn't say I said that off camera, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Well, when you watch the movie and you start hearing the actual the reel to reel, and then you see all the different pieces on the board, and you start putting it together, you realize that what they did was they couldn't fix the situation, so they locked and boarded up this penthouse with her in it, and she's basically been roaming around, and she's like this grown adult weird witch character that just won't die, and she's like emaciated looking, and she's basically just scavenging in this apartment in the dark, and she's creepy as shit. Like,
As what, Adam?
she's creepy as shit.
Come on.
She's creepy as shit.
Thank you.
Okay. I always thought that this was, in a day when you have, character actors like Doug Jones and Javier Botet and all them, doing these long, gangly, creature type characters. Whoever the hell played this.
It was Javier Botet.
Was it Javier Botet?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this must have been like one of the first things that Javier ever did. Okay, crazy.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I
Wow,
actually
you
did
so-
not know that.
Yeah, yeah. It was
I kid you not. This is one of the things I did not know that. I'm learning about this now too. So Javier Botet, just incredible. Then, if that's the case, I mean, it is. So
if that's the case.
if that's the
No,
case, it is.
it
It is. Incredible, because it shows that that's the kind of character actor that pulls that kind of thing off really well. It was creepy as hell, man. Creepy as shit, as Tim made me want to say. So.
Oh, you wanted to say it like that. Shut up, Adam.
I did want to say. So all in all,
Fucking-
pick a favorite like scene or scare. Josh, you said there were some really good jump scares or just scenes in general, though. Tell me
Yeah,
something
Passed
positive.
over. It was just get
Yeah,
passed over.
there was a couple good jump scares. I probably my favorite scene in the movie was the little girl when she changed and bit the mom's face. That was pretty.
What'd you
good.
think about the squealing? I kind of like whenever they're like the creatures are like yelling, it's almost
Yeah.
like a squeal.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Oh, you found that annoying. Tim, talk to
It
me
was
then.
loud.
I'm done with Josh. Tim, talk to me.
My favorite scene was right before when they get the keys, right? And they're about to fucking go upstairs because they can only go up, right? And they're getting chased, and you see the camera look down the staircase, and you see all these random fucking zombies, and then there's the one zombie that pokes out the level before. That gets me every time. I'm like, that's fucking terrifying because it's all dark. It's just literally the light from the camera. I thought that was great, and yeah, like, yeah, I like the first introduction. So they go and this is literally right at the start of the movie, and they go up into the old woman's thing, and like it's all dimly lit except for like it's backlit, so you see just the silhouette of her, right?
Yeah.
And she's all fucking like out of sorts, and then bites the fucking chief's fucking neck. I love this movie. Fuck you, Josh. I'm just kidding. Josh, I'm only kidding. I am only kidding. I feel bad that we made such a dynamic team going through fucking Phantasm together. I feel like I
How
failed
quickly you turn.
I feel like I failed you as not only a co-host but as a friend.
What?
I'm sorry, but I love these movies.
Hey, listen. The
They
movie
had the
has
zombie-
7.5 or whatever on IMDb. You're not alone. I'm clearly in the minority.
They
But I just-
had me at Zombies. A zombie found footage film in 2007 was absolutely unheard of. And they won me over. They got me early enough. Now, if I were to watch this movie now, I'd probably be closer to your sensibilities, right? But the thing is that this was part of, you know, that
That burst
found
of
footage
it, yeah.
push. But it was like they didn't have all the like I feel that a lot of the found footage shit that comes out after this is copying Wreck.
A lot of it is.
Because that's the thing that I find, especially with, you know, foreign films, is that they're very original with their ideas because they don't have like the, you know, this North American sensibility, right? Whereas North America literally sees this movie, and the next year they do an almost identical
Shot
remake.
for shot.
Literally
That's
shot.
always been the way. You look at film through the years, Americanized film has always stolen from foreign film. Because you'll get directors that will watch foreign films, and because they're not well known, you can get away with stealing it.
Absolutely.
Yep. And now I will say, and I told this to Tim there when we discussed talking about this movie, to this day, I've still never seen Quarantine, the American remake.
Yeah, neither have I. But I didn't know that the chick from the first one is in it. The adorable little fucking. She's all in the poster. I was just looking at it.
I thought you said you saw Quarantine in theaters.
No, not Quarantine. What are we talking? No, because Rec 4 is called Quarantine.
Oh, no, it's called Apocalypse.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I saw Quarantine in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's never seen the.
I've never seen the Americanized remake of this.
Yeah.
And the only thing.
So you're shitting on it. You never even seen
because
it?
I think it's entirely unnecessary. That's right. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, it's one of those remakes that's literally in every sense of the word a remake. It has the exact same sensibilities, the exact same plot devices, the same scares. They didn't try to outdo. They just wanted to bring this story to a larger audience, right? I almost feel that maybe Josh would have liked the American one a little bit better because it's the same story, the same plot.
But he wouldn't have to read the screen.
But there's no subtitles. Yeah, he wouldn't have to read the screen because that's probably one of the deterrents. Was it
probably
not?
Didn't help.
Yeah.
My little eyes are trying to focus in on the little words on the bottom, seeing what's happening.
What did I say? Optically challenged?
Something like that. So, oculussly challenged. So, the only thing that I seen that was somewhat different, though, was I watched the very first, 2 minutes of the remake just for shits and giggles. And they elaborated a little bit at the beginning. So, Rec starts off, it's the broadcast, and it shows it behind the scenes getting things ready. Whereas the remake, it's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've got the overtoned voiceover, and it's talking about how this thing happened in Los Angeles and blah blah blah, and the only thing that was left was this footage that was discovered, and it shows a SWAT team basically coming in, and they find the footage. Yeah, it's all at the beginning.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of the things of found footage is you have to explain how the footage was found. This movie doesn't really do that.
Nope.
Hello everybody, I am Fabio Frizzi and you are listening to Daycast from the Coast.
All right, so Tim, I think it's that time.
What time is that?
Trivia time with Tim.
Give me one more.
Trivia time with Tim.
Do. All right. Okay, so the actors were never given a script in its entirety through the whole shoot. So none of them knew if their character was going to survive or not. Sometimes, not even until the end of the day when they were filming their scenes, this meant that the actors, more often than not, were stressed, nervous, and apprehensive on the day of filming. Ideal qualities for the film itself.
It's pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Very smart. Yep. Manuela Velasco is really a TV presenter in her native Spain. Made and shot in real locations. No sets were built whatsoever for this movie. And when it came time to casting, the directors deliberately chose actors who were not familiar to help them make the piece more realistic. Also, the actors they also chose actors that were very good at improv. So reacting, which
Makes
I
sense.
feel is a pretty good tool to have as an actor anyway. But anyways, this is one of the very few films that was actually filmed chronologically,
That makes sense.
which I find very interesting, and it probably lent to continuity a lot. And I guess the majority of these, see, I'm going off the record right now because I watched a bunch of shit. But they filmed like 12-hour days, all at night, and the fact that they had permission to use that little girl at night for some of these shots is a feat in itself. Maybe they have different regulations over
I was
when
gonna
they're
say,
filming
wouldn't
movies.
happen in the States.
Yeah. I'm not even going to pronounce these Barcelona names because they're pretty elaborate. But the building where they filmed was shot is a real place in Barcelona, obviously, and it was assaulted by a group of youngsters in 2007 after the film became a hit. It's often visited by tourists and fans. I guess people are allowed to go into it and stuff like that. And that was one of the things to talk about Quarantine. The buildings are almost identical. So it's almost like, did they literally find an almost exact identical building in New York? Because it's almost the same. Like, even, like, I don't know, it's just the same. One of the major inspirations for this first-person survival horror game, Outlast, was this movie. The game explores the lines between science and religion, much like Rec does, with medical science, viruses, and possession. The POV game was also inspired by the shaky found footage style used in Rec. So Josh would probably hate that game too.
Probably. That connection of religion and science is really interesting to me, and I really dig that. And I'd probably watch a series that was about that, that I could see.
But not all of the movies, I believe. Isn't Rec 2 not all found footage?
Rec
like it to
Rec
me.
2 has a section of it that's not necessarily found footage.
Yeah, it's cinematic,
And
I
Rec
believe
3
Rec 3
is the same way, and Rec 4 is almost entirely cinematic.
Yeah, so
that one.
Well, you're gonna have to, because I'm saying it right here on this fucking review. This is our series, and hopefully when we're done this series, Aaron will be back to finish fucking Phantasm.
Josh is some pissed looking now. You're gonna subject me to this shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, so my hook right there was Josh saying he finds the subject matter interesting. Yeah. And if the only problem he has with these movies is the found footage aspect, as the movies progress, the found footage becomes less and less and less of a thing.
What does that tell you?
That they just wanted to tell the story and didn't need the gimmick?
Right.
Yeah.
The gimmick is dumb. They learn from their mistake.
Anyways, trivia time with Tim's not over. This movie originally was set to be released direct-to-video, but it got pushed and was released in theaters to be a big hit. The DVD of the film wasn't released in the U.S. until after its remake, Quarantine, which came out the year after, 2008, had been out in theaters, and the sequel, Rec 2, had already been confirmed. So that was a long time to wait to see the original. The directors originally toyed with the idea of having a television camera crew shadow some actual policemen, but then they decided to go with firemen instead, as they tend to be more popular and generally accepted by the general public, especially following 9/11. Paco Plaza reportedly had Chinese neighbors that never closed their door. This always intrigued him. Paco Plaza is one of the directors, in case you didn't know, Josh.
I did not.
This was released within 6 months of the similarly themed, can't speak, Zombie Diaries and George Romero's Diary of the Dead. They're all kind of the same.
Nice.
The Rec is the best of all of them. Angela and Pablo's show is reminiscent of the Spanish show One Equipo, which has been made as La Guida in Argentina. Okay, I'm done doing those. All right. Around 18 minutes. I touched on this earlier. While filming the scene where the young fireman falls from the stairs, not a single actor knew that that was going to happen.
Oh.
So the reactions of those characters were the real reactions of the actors themselves.
Okay, I'm totally appreciating that one.
Yep.
There seems to be an awful lot of method work going on with this director.
Oh, there's a ton. The closing passages were really shot in complete darkness. So when they're up there with literally the only person that can see aside from the real film crew that's obviously watching this play out, the only person that could see was Buddy with the camera looking through.
She was totally in the dark.
She was totally in the dark. The monster was totally in the dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the closing passages were really shot in complete darkness using infrared camera. The actors had no idea what was taking place as they could not see a thing. Up until the release of the sequel, Rec 2, Paco Plaza and his filming partner, which I do not want to butcher the name, were unaware of the decorative sculpture at the top of the building depicting a woman being grabbed by a monstrous creature by her foot, which strongly is similar to the final scene of this film.
That's
I
intriguing.
didn't even know. That is. At around 10 minutes, Jennifer can be seen holding a Nokia N95 smartphone in the hall. According to the directors, Claudia Silver was actually filming, but her footage cannot fit into the final cut of the film. This footage was, however, used as a promotional piece, which molds The Curse of the Blair Witch. That's cool. The episode on which their disappearance and the mysterious events of the quarantine night. That's cool. I didn't even know that. I'm reading it for the first time, but she's filming with her smartphone, and she's legit filming, and they ended up using it as a promotional piece of found footage, basically saying, you know, hey, we got someone's camera footage from inside that was not the camera crew. So that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. I'm going to have to look it up.
Slightly.
Okay, and this is the last one. The alternate ending has Angela leaving the attic and being attacked by Mr. Basically the old lady. Another one was coming. Another one has her coming down the stairs in the dark, trying to make it through the infected residents while they're in a numb state. She's then killed by one of them. A similar sequence is seen in Rec 3 Genesis, where Carla and Kodo walk through their infected relatives, realize that paralyzed by the priest's prayers. So, yeah, that's trivia time with Tim. There was a lot that I didn't say because we've already discussed. But yeah, like Josh said, the method acting on this film is real, and I absolutely appreciate the fact that they went above and beyond to try to recreate realistic scenarios, realistic reactions in a very scripted reality. And I feel that a lot of movies that have come out since have not been able to capture that, and that's why Rec, in my opinion, succeeds.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No,
Are my words? Did my words stun you guys? Like, you're just looking at me like...
No, I'm just letting you finish because I agree. The method acting behind this, and like the stuff that I'm finding out about, like the dummy not even being known that it was going to occur, and they were all shaken up anyway from the way that they were, actually being, handled on set when not knowing if they were going to die next and what the next part of the script was for them and everything else. The unnerving what they did to those actors just makes it even better.
Yeah.
So, Josh,
Yes,
I implore you to run
Yes.
through your 10 and then review this movie. Give me your final thoughts after you run through your list.
Okay.
It is time for Josh to speak up. Even more than he already has.
First rule I have is keep it simple. No more than 6 named characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Keep locations minimal.
Yeah.
Josh is going, fuck.
Well, no, there was like fucking 15 people that lived in this building that were
But
characters.
did they all have names?
I don't know. I can't tell you the name of any one of them.
Keeping it to a minimum.
Still minimum.
Too minimal. I don't even know any of their names. Keep locations minimal. That they did a very good job. It's in one area. It's the hotel or the apartment building or whatever it is. Tell us the rules and more importantly follow them. So I guess in this movie the rule would be if you're attacked by a virus zombie thing, you become a virus zombie thing.
Yeah.
I guess, kinda,
And
sorta.
it kind of kept to that.
I love how you're like, I guess.
I guess is it bite related, or do some of them turn when they're not bitten?
They were all
So-
bitten.
Is that what it is? So classic zombie rule then, I guess. If you're gonna have a twist, foreshadow it. It makes it better for multiple viewings.
Mm-hmm.
Use practical effects whenever possible.
100%.
Give me some cheese, one-liners, and silly situations. This movie took itself very seriously. It didn't have any of those.
Oh, well, I did like when the guy was yelling at the mother, tonsillitis, bullshit! He's like yelling about it. It was kind of funny, but okay, fine. We'll take that one away.
Sure, yeah. Also some humor in general. So it didn't have much humor, but that's fine. It's a horror movie. It doesn't have to. That's my rule for a perfect horror movie.
Okay.
Gotta have some sex appeal. Give us some hotties.
You admitted that one earlier.
Oh, she was a babe. I'll give her that. Pay homage to the greats. So the greats in this genre, I guess, would be
Romero for zombies.
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch for...
I guess. Like, found footage Blair Witch is like the be-all and end-all, isn't it? Isn't that kind of like the
It's
one?
the grandpappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Never have a happy ending. People must die, and ideally leave room for a sequel with a twist or cliffhanger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how many of those did it get out of your 10?
8 out of 10.
Like 7 or 8, yeah.
So...
You gotta abide by this. You know that, right?
I couldn't see what was happening. To
So you're just taking our word for it?
pretty much.
Okay, so Josh, give me your final thoughts, and I want to hear, based on, gotta take into account your rules when you give your final review, regardless of how you feel.
So here's the thing about a movie. It's in multiple parts, bud. You gotta see what's going on, you gotta hear what's going on, and you gotta have the story arc and the general atmosphere the movie creates. The story, excellent. I love the idea of religion and science and viral outbreaks. These are all great story elements. If this was a movie, a cinematic movie about people that went into a fucking apartment building and it was full of zombies and there was a demonic aspect to it, A1, probably get an R rating from me. The visuals. So every opportunity they had to showcase some awesome effects, they cut the camera. What's the point? What's the point in paying someone obscene amounts of money to create these effects to not be able to see them? I shouldn't have to fiddle and pause and get still images and scour the internet to see these effects. If I want to see a horror movie, I want to see those effects. And you got to hear what's going on. And unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
so you're already a level of distracted by following the subtitles, and I get it. That's fine. That's what happens when you watch a foreign film. There's lots of foreign films I quite enjoyed. Train to Busan, amazing foreign film. But I think with the subtitles, with the fact that I couldn't see what the fuck was going on, all these things, and the fact that it's found footage, so I'm already going into it not liking it, all these things are just compiling to make like a mega pile of shit. And I'm just trying to wade through it, and I know there's some little corn niblets of excellence in that shit.
Awesomeness?
Yeah, there's some niblets in there. but the whole thing I'm looking at is just a big pile of shit, and I can't tell what's going on.
All right.
Those are my thoughts,
Those are your
boys.
thoughts, but you need to rate the movie now by any means.
So, I'm gonna give this movie a little bit of credulence here. I'm gonna say that it's probably a good movie. I'll give it a G under the fact that someone out there who's watching it, other than me, is gonna at least think it's a good movie. It has a lot of the aspects of a great movie, and if you can be dissuaded to not be distracted by the fact that it's found footage, not be distracted by the fact that it follows every single trope and you're watching people's feet more time than anything else, and not be distracted by the fact that it's not in your native language, then you'll probably enjoy this movie. For me, ultimately, I didn't enjoy this movie. This wasn't a fun time for me.
What a sin.
So, Josh,
Feels...
your review, you're giving it a G?
I'll give it a G, and I'll tell you, I want to give it an S. But I understand the fact that for the genre that it is, and I understand it obviously has a very good following. It's got a 7 point whatever on IMDb and thousands of
7.8,
reviews.
I believe.
Thousands of reviews and lots of people that claim this is one of the best found footage films. But for me, saying you're the best found footage film, that's like you're the least stinky turd in the pile.
Oh, Josh, that's shitty, buddy.
Wow.
All right. So forget what Josh has to say. Tim, spill your love for this movie.
Okay, so I had the benefit of seeing the story in English the first time.
What?
Yeah,
Quarantine.
because I watched Quarantine,
Oh, okay.
right? So I immediately fell in love with, like, I don't have the hugest hate towards found footage, because there's a few that I've seen that have actually like got me and immersed me, and I loved it. But I'm with Josh. There's way too many of these fucking things, and a lot of them suck.
Yeah.
They're a cash grab. But when I found out about Wreck, it's my one rule. If I find a fucking American remake of the original, as soon as I possibly can, I'll watch the original. I always love them more. And in this case, I did love Wreck. I found that I was able to pick up on a lot of little things that I've seen in the American one that might have been missed with the subtitles and just nuanced story beats or whatever. Like I said, this newest fucking viewing, I put the connection together that the clippings on the wall of the little girl who was patient zero was the witch, the big monster at the end, all grown up, however many years she's been trapped in there. I've always loved the meshing of science fiction and religion, science and religion anyway, horror and religion. I love, like, you know, some of my favorite movies, The Exorcist and all that kind of shit. I love that. I love that there was a mystery to it. I thought the practical effects were legit. I thought that the acting in it was not over the top. It seemed very appropriate to the situations that were going. I love the fact that it was shot in a real location with a real TV personality, and the majority of like the people were like unknown. Like, there was a level of realism to this movie that I fucking loved and appreciated. With that being all said, as much as I would love to give this an X, because I really do, I'm not going to give it an X because it's not as perfect as it is. It's not perfect. No movie is. But I'm giving this like a straight up fucking R. Watch this movie. You might not be a fan of found footage, but as a horror movie, it's legit. And there's a couple of the jump scares that actually, first time I watched it, got me. And it wasn't unearned jump scares, like it was a good jump scare. Yeah, I recommend it. R.
Nice. Nicely said. Nicely said. As you can imagine, I share a lot of the same sentiments. Yes! Tim knew I was going to say that. All right.
I didn't know. I didn't think you were going to say it. I thought you were done because we made fun of you so much. But I'm so happy that you brought it back.
There you
Thank
go.
you,
You're
Adam.
welcome. You're welcome. All right. Where do I stand with Wreck? Wreck is a feel-good movie for me. This is one of those movies.
It's one of those feel-good
It's
movies.
a feel-good movie. This is one of those movies that I can literally put on anytime. I don't get bored of this movie. I've watched it dozens of times. I've had it in the background just when I'm working on stuff. It's going. Yes, I don't speak Spanish, but I can tell the beats of the movie as the movie progresses, and I'll look up and I'll see things, and I enjoy the special effects. Sure, 100% found footage genre is full of absolute garbage and bullshit everywhere you go. Out of 100 found footage movies that are made, 2 will only get my fucking attention. Guaranteed. And that's something to be said, because there are a couple of found footage movies that I like. I really like the original Blair Witch because that's the grandpappy of them all. It's the one that intrigued everybody. It is still a good movie when you get past the long, drawn-out parts that have to do with them actually getting lost in the woods before anything actually happens. Then you get into Wreck, and you get into ones like Grave Encounters. And there are some pinnacle highlights in the found footage, selections. You just have to really spend the time to actually want to watch some of this shit to get through and find those ones. There was even one there not that long ago that I watched that was called like Evidence or something like this. And the whole movie was bullshit. But the very end and the reveal and the twist was like beautiful. Like, I would give the movie a decent rating just based on the ending. So, this movie has the jump scares, it has the gore effects. Like, it's not like it's super stupid gory or anything else, but it's got the blood, it's got the good effects, it's got the jump scares, it's got the sound in this movie I thought was great. And I brought it up earlier, the squealing noises.
Foley work. The Foley work was fantastic.
Yeah, the Foley work's fantastic, but the squealing noises that they make when they're attacking, it
just felt like an extra assault on my senses.
Yeah, sure. I mean, technically in a movie like this, that's what they want to do. They want to attack your senses with this kind of a thing, right? Right down to the reveal and the twist, and I love, like you guys said, I will 100% agree, the mix between science and religion that causes this bastard child of a scenario. And it's a beautiful mixture. And come to find out, when we were talking about this, Javier Botet played, obviously, the original. It looks like Doug Jones played the one in the remake, in Quarantine. Yeah. So, like, once again, it's the monster actors, and I love it. This is original filmmaking, and it gets to a point where Paco Plaza went on to do some other stuff, but nothing huge. But then he kind of came around to his own again just last year. One of his latest movies went viral for being one of the scariest movies on Netflix, Veronica, which we watched it, and it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I
liked it because it's playing with the same themes of like
religion and science and horror and all that stuff.
And science and all that, right? Which I would love, by the way, to fucking review. And Josh, it's not a found footage.
No, it's got a couple of scenes that are considered found footage, but it's a cinematic movie with maybe 10 minutes worth of footage, like otherwise. But it's also like
cops coming into the building and all this.
But it's based on a true story too. Which is what made that movie, even freakier to people, right? Because it was based on a true story. But Paco Plaza has proven that he's got the chops to make something, is what I'm saying. He made something like this. He made the sequels, and continuing that, he's got more to him. I hold this movie very dear, but, and I've said this before, I agree, found footage is like the lowest rung of the ladder when it comes to horror movies for me. I don't get as much entertainment as I do for a lot of them. So, based on that, I will give this movie a R. Just like Tim said, I would give this an X. I think I would give this an X if it actually was not a found footage movie.
Just based on the story.
Just based on
alone
the
and
story, the atmosphere. If this was a movie where there was elements of found footage, but it was a cinematic story, this would be 100% top tier movie to me. This would be pinnacle. Sit on the shelf. It's a classic. It's a modern day. This is
I thought he said shit on the shelf.
shit on the shelf.
I'd even accept 50-50. Give me half cinematic.
There you go. See, even then, right? So if it had more cinematic to it. If this is...
But to be fair, can I make a point, though, before you continue, Adam? To be fair, I don't think this movie would have the same weight behind it, for me anyway, if it wasn't found footage.
It's true.
Like, this specific movie, I believe part of the reason I like it was that it was found footage, and the way that it was done immersed me into the story. Yes, I enjoy just watching a regular movie and shit, right? But I feel that this particular movie, it's one of those ones where I'm glad that it was done the way that it was done.
Well, it definitely added
Right?
the element to it.
I feel like it wouldn't have hit me the same if it was just cinematic. Now watching Rec 3, which is like the majority is cinematic with some found footage elements, that was awesome because going into it I knew what it was going to be, but I feel like this particular movie, because it was the first one, was better because of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. It does put the weight behind. It does put the weight behind it. It does put the weight behind it. I mean, that's how it was envisioned. That's how it was written to be. It might not. You know what? If it was a cinematic movie or a more cinematic movie, it might not have the same flair or the same effect as it had on crowds. So, I definitely will agree with that. Gentlemen, we have 2 R's and a G, and if Aaron was here, I guarantee it would be an R. So, Josh, you're the minority for sure.
Wow.
I feel
Just
so
like
bad.
in real life, picking on the minorities.
Oh.
I feel so bad because, like I said, Josh, we bonded over fucking Phantasm.
And your
dead to me.
hatred.
Oh,
He's
I'm
dead.
dead.
Whoa!
Wow.
What is
That
it? What is it they
actually
say in
hurts.
Newfoundland when friendship turns to hen shit? There you go.
Oh my.
All right,
No.
gentlemen.
I
This has been a good review. This has been a good time. We're just gonna cut it from here, and we're gonna move on with life as it is, so that Josh no longer has to deal with this. So, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Do not forget to check us out on Facebook, Misunderstood Our Company. We put out content every week now. We're also on YouTube, Misunderstood Our Company. Like, share, subscribe. Do it all, folks. We are also producing audio copies of these episodes on all the major podcasting platforms, including but not limited to Google Play, iTunes, and Spotify. We're also on Patreon. Open up your hearts and your wallets and join the patrons today. And until next time, Josh.
who's gonna watch it?
Whatever. Tim.
Stay spooky out there, everybody. Today, tomorrow,
Every other day. There you go.
every other day.
See you next time, folks.
Good night.